Hi, we back. So this is my first video on this new channel. You may have already seen some of the other videos on my main channel, Retrospective Hip Hop, or this is your first time seeing anything from me. Either way, welcome. On this episode, I'll be analyzing the, let's call it disagreement between hip hop commentator DJ Akademiks and hip hop artist Vic Mensa back in summer of 2017 on the Complex show Everyday Struggle. Let's go.
Do you feel drill is like done? Because you also mentioned that you felt you were a little bit repulsed by the fact that so many people outside the culture of Chicago, they hyped up the music not knowing that real lives were being affected, deaths and other type of madness happened within the music, and the music was a real life depiction of that. Like, how did you feel about that?
Now, of course, there's the question that ultimately set Vic off. Akademiks has told the story multiple times that Vic Mensa was cool all up until this point, and said that before the show, Vic asked him where the bathroom was and implied that Vic came back out of the bathroom with his eyes wide open, I guess implying that Vic did a line of coke or some other type of drug. Anyway, I understand the question he was asking Vic. He wanted to know specifically what Vic thought about how the fans and the general audience play with the hype around the drill scene of real life killing and making songs about the killing and then dissing the dead. But he phrased it in a way that he believed he was different from what they were doing, since he was an actual commentator on the stories, and later said that it wasn't all negative and they have responsibility to it and some positivity rather than what a fan might do. So I guess it didn't cross his mind that Vic would respond in the way he's about to.
I wanted to slap you in your face, honestly. And I'm just seeing you here, so I'm like, this is a tame environment, so I would keep it to my words, but I really felt as if people exactly like you sensationalized and made a following off of clowning situations that we go through in real life. And I think, you know, niggas ain't had no right. You know, you specifically, like, you ain't never have a right. Like, whatever made you feel like you had a space to have a perspective on our people dying on a daily basis?
The war in Chirac was pretty popular, and for those who haven't seen it, Akademiks will report on a lot of stories about the violence in Chicago and make a bunch of jokes while doing it. There's about 500 videos on the channel, and I've seen quite a few to be able to say that while he rarely aimed with jokes specifically at the victims of the stories, he did always make a bunch of jokes that obviously could be seen as tasteful given the circumstances.
That's a joke to you?
So when I saw drill, and you could definitely chime in, when I saw drill was so hyped up by everyone, I had to give a different perspective of what that was for people to realize that's not cool. And whether you agreed with it, right? And again, you're very close, you're involved in it. Chief Keef didn't like me, Dirk didn't like me. I mean, I think they grew to understand that the content was not just negative.
I always thought this was a bit weird how Akademiks rationalize this, and I do truly believe he believes what he's saying. But as Vic is about to tell him, it's a bit weird to be doing these in-depth stories about people in situations you know nothing about.
Right? No, it was clowning. It was just negative, man.
No.
Like, come on, boy.
You don't think it was nothing constructive about it?
There was nothing constructive about it. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I really think you're a bitch. Because
in what sense?
Because
again, I understand Akademiks' perspective in this situation here because he's fairly new to the show and he's in interview mode and he's getting pushback from the guests. Vic says, "I really think you a bitch," and he responds with, "In what sense?" Now everybody, including me, thought it was hilarious because it's like he called you a bitch straight up to your face, which would usually be fighting words or at least talking back in the same way. But again, Ak is in interviewer mode. So when he says, "In what sense?" he's asking Vic why he called him that and why he thinks that Akademiks is a bitch. But yeah, crazy response.
There's a video that you put up about a person named Trey 57 making all these jokes. Oh, here's another Chirac savage. Like, this guy's stupid. He messed with the Grim Reaper. Like, nigga, this is not a video game. That's a nigga I grew up with. I've known since I was 5 years old. And to see you come on the internet and like with this corny ass little voice and make jokes about it.
So yeah, in that video that Akademiks made about Trey 57, I believe he was beefing with Lil Reese. And usually after Lil Reese posted a tweet that said LOL, somebody ends up dead soon. So because of that, Akademiks calls him the Chirac Grim Reaper. And Vic is upset about the jokes made about his friend.
Like, you know, I was waiting to see you. And it's a couple people waiting to see you. I heard you say you didn't want to come to Chicago when I sat down, because you clearly don't, because you really couldn't even stand outside. You get chased out the mall.
Wait, I do get love in Chicago though. Like, I mean,
out the mall, DJ Akademiks.
I mean, truth be told, there's a mixed reaction.
You know you can't deal with that.
I do recall sometime after this, Akademiks still admitted he wanted to avoid Chicago. I'm guessing because, as he called it, the mixed reaction. So I'm guessing he probably didn't want to take any chances. He's obviously in better standings these days, though.
Wait, so you act like there's no love for me in Chicago?
No.
I wish I'd have known.
And you need
I wouldn't have put him in that seat. I would have sat there.
No.
When you talk about real niggas, man, from a real place, you need to watch your mouth.
I follow Vic. I follow the Chicago scene. The Chicago scene I've covered a lot. Here's where I disagree with you with, right? I understand. No. I can't say my part?
No, you can't.
Okay, no. So I disagree that it was just all clowning, right? Now, there's satire used, right? And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's Warren Chirac, by the way, if you guys don't know. But I always had that positive message. Yo, y'all got to cut it out.
Satire is a form of clowning.
No. Yeah, but it's not on some, like, with no type of responsibility. Always offered
Zero
advice.
responsibility,
Satire
man. That's like
when
you
I look
sitting
up-
in your fucking...
Wait, zero responsibility when I'm offering
Yeah.
advice?
There's the next explanation from Akademiks that Vic feels he have to call Akademiks out on. And I always thought this part I'm about to play was very powerful.
Times and I'm
Offering
also,
advice? Who made you eligible to even weigh in? You sitting at a computer jacking
Everybody
off,
weighs in.
fucking typing.
Wait.
typing
Everybody
about
weighs in
real,
on everything.
Typing about real life. You talking about real shit. What you know about that, bro?
No, doesn't everybody weigh in on everything?
Not in that way. You really built a following off of clowning our deaths, people that I really know. And you know what's fucked up about it and why I said the things I said to you is because were we to be in a room, there's no cameras, there's no security, you see us, you wouldn't make no jokes. You wouldn't make a single joke.
So let's address 2 points. One,
Who made you eligible to even weigh in? You sitting at a computer jacking
Everybody
off,
weighs in.
fucking typing.
Wait.
typing
Everybody
about
weighs in
real,
on everything.
Talking about real life. You talking about real shit. What you know about that, bro?
No, doesn't everybody weigh in on
What do you-
everything?
Not in that way. You really built a following off of clowning our deaths, people that I really know.
I remember a lot of people's excuse in Akademiks' favor is that, well, if they weren't shooting and killing each other, he wouldn't have anything to report on. And he's not instigating by making jokes about how the ops is up one and all that type of shit, even though they do it too. He used to call himself the negotiator, by the way. And of course, he acknowledged that Vic Mensa knows these people, so it's more personal to him.
And you know what's fucked up about it and why I said the things I said to you is because were we to be in a room, there's no cameras, there's no security, you see us, you wouldn't make no jokes. You wouldn't make a single joke.
Put in the comments the type of joke you think Akademiks will be okay with making in front of the Chirac savages. I personally think he wouldn't call any of them stupid for their actions to their face if he was by his lonely, but who knows?
Well, first of all,
Would you?
I gave an outside perspective.
Would you make a joke? Would you make a joke?
A joke
if-
about
if-
what?
No,
That
you
was-
wouldn't
okay,
make-
give me a
Hey,
specific
don't
joke.
waste
No.
my camera time. He wouldn't make the joke.
You wouldn't make the
He
joke.
wouldn't make the joke.
In all fairness, Akademiks was trying to ask them what kind of joke do they think he wouldn't make, and they wouldn't answer him. But as we all know, and as Joe said,
He wouldn't make the joke.
So
Wait,
don't just
which-
be sitting like a fucking, you know, like an internet gangster.
No,
talking
I've
about
never
like making.
I don't think you understand me, truth be told. Because
Well-
I never portray myself.
Well,
I
on
do,
another
and the
show,
reason I
we
say
can
that is because
understand
those are ballsy things to say that you said. Those are ballsy things to say, not coming from a ballsy person. Pause. But those are brave things to say, and I don't take you for a brave man. I really think that that's cowardice. I think that entire perspective that I'm gonna make a life off of joking about these young black men killing each other, that's coward shit, man. And you wouldn't say it
Wait,
to
wait, wait.
nobody
Hold
when
on.
the cameras is
Let me
on.
ask you a question. Like, So you expected me to cover drill music, everything around it, but not like how do you cover that?
Who told you to make a video series? You're not even from Chicago, called The War in Chirac, where you go into the smallest details of like murders. What is that? Like that's, you know what? That's just like, that's parasitic. That's what they do to our culture from the outside, and that's exactly what you do to our culture from the outside.
Ak is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on his point, and he still doesn't understand that Vic is mostly saying, why is he speaking about them at all? He ain't even from there, and he's talking all this shit. That specific word he used, parasitic, what he's saying is Akademiks is feeding off of them, not even caring about what's going on, very heartless. It's all about his self-preservation. That's what parasites do. And I think that's the most perfect word he could have used. That's a point a lot of people don't actually bring up. It's how he just leeches off of a lot of people and a lot of things in the hip-hop culture. And he even brings up culture. I've noticed a lot of black people, including Akademiks, will purposely use their blackness to justify almost anything they do, while also doing the things that they don't like other people doing. But they're saying, I'm black, so, if I talk about hip hop, it's cool. But if you do it, why you do? So I thought that was really interesting that Vic was able to pick that out.
I cover music. I have
That's
a
not
huge
music.
You
I'm
can't,
talking
you can't
about
have a series
that's
called
not-
War in Chirac.
That's
You've
not
never been to
music.
Chirac.
That's not music. I'm talking about where you think you're like basically one of those little kids that makes like fan fiction on the internet, and they just like create these worlds about people they don't even know. It's just kind of sick when it's real people dying young. I'm at those funerals. I just left one of those funerals on Friday. You feel me? From a 22-year-old shot 5 times on 61st Street. And that's something that you would take. I'm happy he wasn't a rapper, so you wouldn't clown him. Cause Trey, that's my...
So the video's about to be over pretty soon, but this is always one of my favorite parts of this video. While Akademiks is trying to defend himself, Vic gets really upset and puts his hand in Akademiks' face. And watch when Akademiks notices it. He looks down, sees his hand is in his face, and in the background you hear him say, okay, while Vic is talking to him. I always thought that was funny. They stopped talking when he put his hand in his face. Nobody ever brings this up. This is what this series is all about. This is what we're talking about. So I don't know why he stopped. I don't know if Vic broke his concentration, or do you think he was gonna get slapped if he kept talking? Guess we'll never know.
Nigel was my fucking brother. That's my brother I grew up with since age 5. And to see you clown him, and I know you wouldn't clown him if you ever saw us outside of a safe, controlled environment, man, that's some hoe shit. Man, that's some hoe shit. But we should just move on.
We should
because-
move on. We should move on.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
No,
That
no,
this
no,
was-
it's
I
fine.
didn't know this was a point of contention.
I was gonna
that
chill.
was-
He
that
asked
was-
me
no,
about what I think about niggas doing that.
He moved back to it.
I always gotta ask because
No, you don't. Let's move
Man,
on. We done.
Yo, let me speak. Let me speak.
You
let me speak.
spoke.
Nigga, shut up. Listen, I had to ask that because
I let
that's
him
something
do it.
I've been interested in. You've always been very conscious and outspoken on that, so I always gotta ask.
But now that
I mean,
you
even if it's a disagreement or a point at me,
It
it's
sounds
fine.
like there's nothing
Yeah,
else
it's
to
fine.
say, right?
No, hell no.
It was well worded. Shit. I thought he did a good job. Let's get to it.
All right.
I
You still
should have
feel
been in
good
that seat,
to-
though.
You still feel good to address it?
Yeah.
All right, that took an unexpected turn.
You articulate
so-
yourself well.
Thank you.
In retrospect, Vic got a lot of coverage from dissing Akademiks on Everyday Struggle, and unfortunately, he kept going to Akademiks on other platforms like Jesus and Mero, in which Akademiks already had beef with them because they were talking shit about him. So after Vic went on the show and continued to diss Akademiks, he sent his fans to go do his dirty work, and Vic eventually backed off. In 2019, he seemed to be going through either a genuine artistic change or an identity crisis, musically at least, and maybe a little more. And he embraced his rock and roll side.
I wanna have the best summer ever, Camp America.
And with that, of course, came this. And here was his explanation. Yeah. Anyways, as of 2021, he's back on his rapidy rap shit for the moment. Oh, and one last thing. The YouTube channel All Def Digital did a parody of the Act versus Big Mensa confrontation.
Like, that's all ballsy stuff coming from a not ballsy person, pause. I mean, at the most, you built ballsy. I think that you built like a bowling ball. And then you take that bowling ball body and you get on the internet and you talk about stuff that you have no business talking about.
So, like, share, and subscribe, and that's the end of it.